to another video. This morning, this was a request that I had from somebody a while back. I apologise, I can't remember who asked, but it's that time of year where I like to prune up the hydrangeas. As you can see from here, hopefully the buds are starting to burst. They're nice and big and full. This is also one that I'm going to be reducing slightly, and typically, like I do with all my shrubs like this, is I'm going to be taking out the dead wood as well, all of the big heavy crossing branches, a bit like when you're pruning apple trees. So let me just run through. I'll just make it perfectly clear that you need a good clean pair of sharp secateurs, of course. I also like to have a good pair of my short loppers, so these are the ones that I use for the hedge reductions and things, because most of the time when you're reducing... Hello Jim, a Scotsman in Northern Ireland conversing with an Englishman. So most of the time when you're reaching into the shrub, you're getting shrub in your face, so having a shorter pair of loppers I find easier because I can see where I am. You would think having a longer pair is better, but then if you've got a longer pair, then you've got to open them up further, and that's a good thing about these, is that you've got a good span. You open them up a short way and you've got a good amount of space that you can, cut with. So I like using those. This one is a lace cap hydrangea. So you've got lace caps, which are, let me find one of these decent flowers for you to have a look at. You kind of have the seed heads in the centre, and then you have the flowers around the outside. You then have the mop heads, which are the big traditional looking ones, and then you've got the paniculata, which they're also known as hydrangea trees, and they're the triangular pointy flowers. And they've got to be my favourite, to be honest. So let's have a little switch around and you can have a little watch. Here we are in shot. So as you can see here, we've got this one. Let's just nip off this centre. I always take off the centre ones on the V. So here we've got two little buds, but I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take this one off here and this one off here. That way, if these failed, you have still got two backup buds. It's going to be the same for back here. Take that one off. You've got two backup buds there, so you could take that one back there. This has no buds on it, this one, so I'm going to take that completely off, but it goes back to the centre rule. That is the centre. This one's only got one lot of buds on it, but you've got these ones which will be their fail safe. It is time consuming doing hydrangeas, especially if you're going to be reducing and dead wooding. Well, when you've got one this size, what I like to do is a double cut procedure, the same as I do with some of my roses. Let's just take off that whole one there, because that's completely gone. I can take it back a bit further. That one's completely gone. So, double cutting procedure. Let's just get rid of those. So, let me move it back a little bit. So what I mean by double cutting procedure is I will go round, I will do the minimum amount of pruning necessary, so that's the deadheading and taking out the dead and crossing wood that is quite evident to me at that time, and then I'll go round and I'll prune in accordance to create a shape. So you're taking out all of the necessary stuff. Hello Daphne. She's off for a pigeon. So you'll take out the wood that's necessary, and then you'll go back and you'll take out the bits that are for shaping, if that makes sense. So here we've got a, you can see that, I think you've got a full dead bit there. That's the homeowner coming back. So we've got the full dead limb here. Take that out. There's quite a lot of dead down inside this, but to be honest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this hydrangea up, because time that we've got those flower heads on there, it will actually pull this shrub right down. Now, this has taken me the best part of an hour so far, and I'll be honest, hydrangeas are one of the things that I don't ever rush. Not because I'm worried about taking off too much, because if you've got, you know, big buds like this, you can't really go wrong with it, to be honest. It's when you want to reduce them that you're going to run the risk of, well, you will lose flowers. So it's just something that you have to be aware of, that you're going to lose flowers if you cut them back. I think you can be overly anal with pruning hydrangeas. You can keep going and keep going, and you can keep seeing a little bit snip here, a little bit snip there, and it's just like roses. You can get carried away with it. You keep on going, and you could also be the other way. You can get scared about pruning them. And let's be honest, if you've got these, if you're doing it at the right time of year, like now, I mean, we're a week away from beginning of March. The buds are big and beautiful at the moment. The risk of the frost and snow are dwindling, but I might be proven wrong, because seeing old Emerald Bren, I see on his Instagram that they've got snow, but us being Southern Nancy's down here, you're more than welcome to keep it, sir. So I've had it before where I've had people phone me up and say they've had somebody come in, prune up some of the shrubs, and they've used a hedge cutter, which is fine if you're doing something, you know, oh, I don't know, say if you're doing a Euronymous or a Daphne or a Salvia or whatever, it's fine, you can use hedge cutters on those types of things. But when you've got something like this, this is pruning, and I don't want to put anyone down at this point, but it's what defines a gardener from somebody who just mows lawns. I think there's definitely two things that a gardener should know how to do. One is how to cut leylandii hedges properly, and two is how to prune a hydrangea. Two very basic things, and it's the times of year, not so much with the leylandii. I mean, there's arguments that you shouldn't cut those when you're going to have heavy frosts or snow, dew or whatever. I have, and I've never seen any browning on them. But saying about cutting them wrong is when I'm talking about cutting them back too hard onto old brown wood, and then of course that's it, it's game over for it, it's brown forever. And then cutting these back too early, you can cut off the flower heads, cut off the buds. So it's looking dramatically different from how it was. Bearing in mind the camera probably picks up and makes it a bit too much around there, but that's all the crud which I've been pulling out from underneath, and there's some beautiful green shoots coming down there. And now that I've removed some of it, talk about heat retention, you can probably see that if I zoom in there. Look at the size of those buds down in the bottom in comparison to everything else, and that's what I'm talking about. The heat down there is a lot more because it's being sheltered by everything else. Anyway, so taking out that, so now we've kind of got this shape where it's slightly up above on this bit here. So what I'm going to do is just reduce that bit round down there. I'm going to take out some of these underneath branches, because when they get those big heavy flowers on there, it's going to be pulling that down. So you have to imagine it when it's in bloom. So I'm going to be taking out a few of these underneath ones, reducing it back just slightly there. But the main bit is going to be up across this top, and again a little bit around on here, because this pathway, I mean really, if you were, we've got another entrance over that point where the mower goes through, so I'm not too worried about this entrance. I'd much rather keep the hydrangea and worry about the entrance, to be fair. So, but if you were, you would be talking about coming off another 6 to 8 inches across this side and around, and I don't want to reduce the shrub that much. I like this being a big impact shrub as you drive in to the property. So I'm just going to pop the camera down, and I'll reduce that up. So I've swept up and finished up there. A lot more dramatic from how it was this morning. So removing all of those bottom branches, so when the heavy flowers come down, it's not going to be drooping along the floor. Taking out a lot of the dead, taking out a lot of the crossing branches. There wasn't any diseased in there that I could see, which was fantastic. Opened up the centre a little bit, allow wind to blow through, take any disease away or insects and all that sort of thing. But this plant's pretty robust anyway. There we are. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed this type of video, please do like, subscribe, or comment and all that. And if anyone's wondering why I'm wearing this knee brace, it's because I was working a few weeks ago doing some driveway gates, leaning down into the hole on my belly to scrape out the final bit of 3 foot in the ground. My spades wouldn't open up into there. I twisted on my body and left my knee behind. That's all part of being self-employed. It's getting injured and having to work with injury is all part and parcel, fun and games of, you know, working for yourself. I have just been cutting back heliobores here, just taking back all the leaves on them. These ones here. Basically cut back all the leaves on there, leaving the flowers, stimulates growth. You can see the flowers a lot better, makes the flower beds look a little bit tidier. I leave them on there for a good period, so the flowers can develop and such, and then when they start to fade, I cut them back so you can enjoy the flowers. Just balancing my coffee, so you can enjoy the flowers. Then you take that back, photosynthesis is transferred into making more flowers rather than concentrating on the greenery for the leaves, therefore making more flowers, and the flowers that are there last longer, etc. If anyone's wondering, that's a hazel hurdle, but that's another video for another day, where I'm doing part of this project for a customer. And this one I've taken from site, and I've got 1 of 2 gates to make, so I'm going to do that in the workshop. Anyway, I've dabbled on long enough. That's how to prune hydrangea and how to reduce it. My voice has gone rather funny. Thank you very much, and catch up with me again soon. Cheers.